Guys, we're back. It's episode 19 of an untitled LPL English podcast. We're back after an extended break after MSI. The Split 3 is about to start, and I'm joined yet again by Jack and Lennon. Boys, first of all, before we get any of this, how are you feeling? How have you been doing on your break? How excited are we for LPL Split 3? We're almost at Worlds, guys.
I'll say I was feeling really good up until a specific day that maybe others feel similarly about, and then it ruins my entire until now. But I'm really excited to forget about everything that happened this year, or at least the last couple of weeks, I should say, and then get on to Worlds.
I'm heartbroken still. I'll get over it eventually. BLG losing really sucked, but I'm really excited for this split. I've just been taking some time, obviously, doing some interviews at MSI with you, and then been doing some NACL interviews as it kicks off now again, which is a weird format. Speaking of, though, I think I'm more excited about this LPL summer than I had been, obviously, for other splits, just because of the craziness that Split 2 then delivered to us for Split 3 with the different teams and different groups there. I think it's going to be really fun to see what some of these newer rosters do, especially because it's the most important split of the year, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how the regular season pans out. So I'm excited. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. It is so strange now going into Split 3. It almost feels like everything from like the last 6 months almost like, I don't want to say doesn't matter, because it matters for one specific team in our league, the number 1 seed, but it feels like for everybody else, for the most part, they're starting from zero again. We'll get into some of the roster stuff later, but just let's do our recap of MSI. Very exciting. I think as a fan of the LPL, I was excited for like 90% of this tournament. And 5 to 7% of that tournament that I was sad about was our second seed, but we'll get to that in a bit. Let's get through the good part of MSI, which is LPL, another final, and we beat T1 in a game 5, which is, I think, the most exciting part of the tournament for me.
Why did it get to game 5? Really, don't worry about it. It's about the destination, not the journey.
We did it.
Yeah, it could have been in shorter, I think, as well. I feel like it could have been in fewer games.
Yeah, definitely could have. Absolutely could have. It's cool. I mean, that was probably my favorite motive of the tournament. Obviously, there was something else that was not my favorite motive of the tournament, but man, this BLG team, I had so much fun watching it. It was literally paramount to watching, and the same as watching France, like at the World Cup. I swear to God, they looked so good. It was so awesome. It was so fun. Breakdown, just completely train off the rails. It happened. But we did beat T1, which is great.
That's how I feel about England, watching England. It's like, one up against Argentina. Like, surely England's going to the finals. Nope.
Did you see what Bellingham made Messi do? Like, hey, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? He poked the
hat-trick
bear.
in the finals. I don't know how that's fair. Isn't this guy like 80?
Dude, they've got the T1 centers that usually work overtime to make sure that T1 has extra stats in the games, especially at internationals. Since they got off so early, because T1 got eliminated from MSI, they were able to work on Argentina's behalf. And so now they have the T1 magic.
So it's BLG's fault.
Are you saying that T1 are responsible for Argentina making the World Finals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Shifting back to the League of Legends tournament that was played in Korea. I'm at a complete loss. I don't watch any sports. So I know Harry Kane through a Jack Harlow song, okay? That's it. So
that's incredible.
That's as far as my knowledge, my actual ball knowledge goes for football. But I think we had a lot of exciting moments from like, yes, game. I tweeted about this, but I think beating T1 game 5 and having a lot of really strong games going up into that point, like the Vel'Koz, obviously, that people are going to talk about. There is the Taliyah game that we got, I think, later in the tournament. That was super exciting. And then we win Game 5 on a Baron fight, I think is just, like, way too poetic. And it obviously, T1 then go on to lose to G2, which, again, very incredible. We'll talk about another thing that G2 did during this tournament later. But that, and then also beating HLE the first time. Even this last series, we were maybe like one different play away from winning this finals in Game 5.
Yeah.
Like
even after losing so much of the game.
Exactly. So we were just a team fight away, and that I think has been a very big explanation of this entire year. More so than last year, where I think everybody was like, okay, we're going to get to, like, we're going to do the grubs for a dragon trade. They obviously changed it from 6 to 3 halfway through, and then we're like, okay, now it's, like, really Otacon focus, and the game kind of becomes around this objective for the most part. I feel like removing Otacon, but still keeping the game about team fights, has made it, in some ways, more exciting. I think some people might, like, complain about the purity of, like, laning phase, especially with Mage's bottom lane, some of the things that, like, Zeus was bringing out in top lane, like the Swain and the Mundo. People might say, like, that's not as fun to watch, but I think team fights have been the bread and butter of almost every single, like, MOBA esport. And so having the game be decided, whether that be on a Baron or a Dragon, as it has been through time eternum, it feels like the game is almost always decided, like, by a single team fight.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like at some times it can be a little frustrating because, you know, you put a lot of work in and then you do make that mistake. But at the same time, it does reward being in the game, like, mentally for as long as you possibly can. I think it was G2, the reverse sweep. I know that this is more of, like, a serious thing, but chanting, like, the Azap stuff, I think it's good for the game. I think it's very exciting as a viewer when this stuff happens. Not to us, unfortunately. You know, when BLG lose, it's not.
Yeah.
Not what we want.
I don't have much to say about top esports. I think we got, for me, I'm not gonna lie, we got maybe not all the way an expected outcome, but I did expect them to bomb out pretty quickly. I think a lot of people were putting a lot more hope on this team than I expected with the couple new players, especially the way they played the game. But for BLG, it sucks they lost, and I'm still salty about it. But they were the ones driving the meta. They were playing their own picks. We even got to see Kindred from Shun, which was a godsend, and one of the most dominant performances we saw of the entirety of MSI. They were doing it their way, and unfortunately, they lost their way too. We've seen Billy lose series like that before. It was like quintessential BLG at MSI. And I'm still proud of what they were able to do. Again, leading some of the meta, especially on coming out of the bot lane. I think we were able to play a lot around those unique picks that were coming out specifically in MSI. And so I'm still really proud of the team, even though they fell short for sure.
Let's get into the bad, because it's basically just going to be, hey, we lost another final. We kind of didn't do very, like, I don't want to say we didn't do very much. BLG losing another final does kind of sting, right? Like, we keep talking about the greatness of what is supposed to be our LPL number 1 seed, and it doesn't, like, we still can't get over the hump. Obviously, First Stand is an international tournament, but it's not. First Stand still lacks a lot of legitimacy for the community. I think that's fair. Like, the tournament at first was supposed to be, like, the fun, wacky tournament that, like, introduced Fearless. And then Fearless was so popular that it just got adapted immediately, globally speaking. So now it's lost its edge. And the only thing that's changed between last year and this year is that we added more teams to the tournament, which, I don't know, just doesn't feel like a really strong reason for this tournament exactly to exist. It also doesn't have the long-standing prestige that MSI, the World Championship, has. So as much as BLG did win their first international title, the competition was also just lower, which is a fair thing to say when we're talking about, hey, it's the beginning of the year. Not every team that wins the World Championship at the end of the year is the best team at the very start of the calendar. So It sucks, and I still see a lot of strange comments about BLG at International. So I really want to believe that this is going to be the year, especially when it is all about we're just going to team fight, and we also just happen to have we have one of the best laners in mid lane, but we have some of the most creative ways of being able to solve some of these strategies.
I mean, I think I know what you're referring to specifically about the strange things being said. And I'll just go ahead and say, like, a lot of the narrative really pisses me off because, like, I think the same about 2024. If a team is in a world final and goes 5 games, it could have gone either way. It's absolutely ridiculous to be like, this team sucks. LCK father or whatever, sons of LCK. No, we beat T1 handedly. We beat Life even harder, and then it was an amazing 5-game series. I've seen conversations about some people, like I was talking to Cubby about it. I don't personally love
that guy's a traitor anyway, so
the way
we're gonna put him in the gallows.
Dude, I'm like literally one step away
now
from putting him into the gallows, dude. I'm not joking.
I didn't love the draft angle game 5. I know other people didn't mind it at all. Like, I know Dom thought the draft was even, but I hate this idea that it's like, oh, obviously this was going to be the outcome. It could have gone either way very easily.
I think a lack of respect for the picks was the biggest thing. And I know Danny talked about it a lot in his post-match press conference and stuff, but and that stings just because these picks can take over. And I think that's the biggest thing about draft. I don't think necessarily what we had on BLG was a bad draft, but I think it's the preparation and especially blocking some of the things that were coming through from T1, which is the biggest problem. But it's also about some of the decisions that were made, especially early. Like, we were losing that game, so we needed miracles to pull out that game number 5, and they started to, which was insane. And that's why we were talking about at the beginning of the show, like, they were that close, even though we were losing for so much of that game. But if any of those early decisions, the ones that Danny say, we knew not to attack there, but we kept fighting because that's what HLE like to do, I think those kinds of things sting because you should know better than that. You should be able to do better than that in those kinds of moments instead of getting swept up by those situations. So it hurts because of the execution of things, and I think the draft doesn't help.
Ben, we need
Dude,
to have
that guy
serious
was a
conversation
ghost.
about Ben. He was a ghost most of this tournament.
Exactly.
I'm really, really disappointed with the form that we have gotten from Ben for most of the year, if I'm being honest. We're getting into even matchups versus Cube domestically. Your biggest highlights are coming off of styling off of on a semi-rookie player in top esports, and you basically won the first stand tournament by having jungle and support sitting your lane for portions of games. I don't think that's super impressive, and obviously in the entirety of the tournament there was that the interview clip from Ben that I put on the timeline where he's talking trash to Doran, and then all 5 of those games, both of them are like, can I get some help if you guys have some time to walk top lane? It's like, no, brother, we're winning the game.
For me, it feels like even in the games that Ben was doing well in, there were some games against Zeus in both of the series where it's like, okay, Ben's generating a lead, he's providing prior, and I think that in the first series, the first time BLG faced Homolife didn't really have an answer. I don't think that game was bad for him, or that series was bad. Quiet, maybe, but I feel like it's still a role, and he's keeping Zeus down, and that allowed Shun and On to really do whatever they wanted. But in the second time they faced, it felt like every time Ben was pressing to maybe crash a wave, or that maybe BLG could have been diving on that wave, Kanavi was there, or Delight was there to punish Ben's over-aggression. It just happened over and over and over again, and these small advantages that Ben might have been able to build up to make more of an impact never really came to fruition. I mean, the Aatrox game was the most exciting when we played it, because he was kind of hard carrying some fights towards the end of them, but that one was a tough one because of the Baron at the end.
Zeka game 5, bro. We can't beat him in game 5. The guy actually has.
My
it's
thing
literally
is
a narrative.
the decisions beforehand. If you are getting punished for 3 games in a row in your top lane when you're over pushing into tower. Why are you doing it for a 5th, 6th, 7th time in the series? Like, what? Oh God, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because it was a tough tournament and stuff. But man, these are mistakes that should just not be happening if we have this much respect for BLG, and it sucks.
I love the answer that Danny gave, which is when we are really stressed or when things get really tough, the players default to some bad habits.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to break those because they're like things that the players are going to do almost like second nature. They're just like, oh, automatically I'm going to go do this thing because we're in a tough position and now I have to try to like fix the game. And I think Danny has done a lot of great work. The fact that we made another international final. That being said, this MSI format, I do hope Riot takes a look. MSI as a whole has the most competitive bracket in the entire calendar year. Bar none in the sport, has the best format. However, we cannot be saying that Top Esports is a 4th pool team. Let's just remove the name. Let's just remove whoever's in that. We cannot say that the 2nd seed out of LPL is a pool 4 team. I refuse to believe that. Also, LCK 2nd seed should not be in the play-ins. This is just mathematically, historically, and categorically the wrong decision.
Agreed.
I don't understand.
I don't know. G2 fathers the LCK. I don't know. Maybe they are worse.
They are our LPL 5th seed, okay? We send them to every tournament, and they make us proud. They get rid of the LCK in some way. Let's get into the ugly of MSI, which all revolves around Top Esports.
Oh, come on.
I don't know where... There's supposed to be a picture of Jackie Love here.
We had to remove it.
Well, it's there. What do you mean? It's just like when he was at MSI. He's invisible.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I want to push back on something here, Lennon, that you just said earlier of people were overrating this team or they were giving them more praise.
People outside of the LPL. They were all like, oh, it's the LPL 2nd seed. It's crazy.
It is the LPL 2nd seed. Like, the LPL 2nd seed should not be getting reverse swept by G2. Sure, it happens. And then if we're using like future knowledge, if they continue to go on and they then beat T1 as they did, I think that's a completely fair way to lose. But us losing to Team Secret Wales, no disrespect to LCP, but just a little bit because we're the LPL 2nd seed. We should have, thank you, so much more respect for our region and hold them to a certain level. They should not be losing to LCP's 1st seed. That should just be illegal.
I guess, yeah. But I also see it's Top Esports, and I'm like, I'm not surprised. But every time that they go to MSI, they have to set some kind of record. Like the reverse sweep, they had to do losing for the first time ever to the LCP in a best of 5. Put them down for it. Like, I don't know. It feels bad because, not gonna lie, like maybe WE does a little bit differently, but I do think that this was a very lopsided 1 and 2 seed from the LPL this time around. And I agree they shouldn't have lost that way. At least bring it to 5 games, TSW. But the fact they beat one team, it worked.
You say like this time around, but I feel like first end I wasn't super impressed with our 2nd seed either. I know that it was a much shorter tournament, but I feel like BLG is the only LPL team that is actually playing the game at internationals this year. And like at first stand, in the moment when JDG lost to Gen G, okay, fair enough. And then G2 3-0'd them. That we can't be losing to this. What are we doing? BLG is carrying the torch by themselves against everyone else.
Yeah. I think we should have more respect for having an LPL, being the LPL 2nd seed. Again, getting reverse swept, it rarely happens at internationals. There was like a growing stat of like how many times this has happened. Very impressive that G2 were able to do that. But then immediately losing to LCP. An incredible moment for the LCP and specifically for the Vietnamese community. First time that they have won a best of 5 versus an LPL team in the entirety, even going past the LCP, going back to PCS or VCS. Incredible moment for them. Jackie Love has now set 2 records in 2 months.
Yep.
He has the most amount of second place losses in the LPL. And he now also is the only player to have lost a best of 5 to every single region represented in the LOL Esports calendar.
Michael, congratulations.
Ah,
proud,
man.
Jackie Love.
Dude, this is so frustrating. Like,
Okay, but Worlds is going to come around, and we're going to send 4 teams, guys. Surely...
correct. And one of them's going to be in the play-ins. For no
Free
reason.
wins, baby. Free wins.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Awesome. I love play-ins. I love putting major region. We don't have.
They
Okay,
better
but what if
make it all best
DRX
of fives, though.
wins
The fact that
again
MSI
from
was all best of
play-ins?
fives, I need that.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I like all best of 5s. Unfortunately, we have this dog water Swiss seeding stage, which why do we have the power rankings for? Why do we have the power rankings?
I'll come out and say I like Swiss stages. I think they're entertaining. I think that if we do a Swiss stage, the bracket should be double elim in the quarters, but I like Swiss stage. Maybe if it was like best of 3s, but that would be too long. I don't know.
Dude, it's
Swiss
world,
stage.
Man. Let it go on for a
Swiss
month
stage.
and a half.
Yeah, Swiss stage is supposed to take into account all teams are of similar strength. That is not true. We are not arguing. Well, maybe now we can argue that LCP first seed is competitive with LPL second and below, but let's no.
Yeah.
I'm
just
also okay with
be delusional.
By the way. Yeah, that's fine. I am also of the opinion that the World Championship is not about crowning necessarily the best team in the world. Is actually about representation. It is completely, and I say representation not in like using it like a pejorative or a dirty word. It is actually just about representing the best of each region or the best representatives from each of our different regions, which are China, Korea, EMEA, Asia Pacific, North America, Brazil. Like, I think that is a completely fine. Also to note, there is a new play-ins for this World. It isn't just a single best of 5, so we're not going to get another IG versus T1 randomly just playing a best of 5 to get into the tournament. It is actually the exact same as MSI. It is 4 teams, double elim, all best of 5s, and 1 spot going into Worlds, which is crazy to me. I also don't see who is going to be in the play-ins here. I'm trying to look at the actual thing, and it doesn't say who is supposed to be going in. So I guess we'll find out who it is. It would be very funny. I think it would be hilarious, by the way, if play-ins was LCK 3rd, LCK and LPL 4th seeds, and then EMEA and NA. Just let them duke it out. Let them duke it out, and then just put all of LCP and Brazil into the tournament because they need the representation. I think it would be a lot of fun. But all right. Anything else before we send Top Esports to the Shadow Realm one last time?
I do have a question for everyone here. I'll give my answer as well. In good, the bad, and the ugly, where are you rating the mage bot meta that we've seen come up and will likely to see continue? I'm not following the unnamed tournament that is going on right now because
the Blood Money Cup.
I'm not following that. I'm checking the results, but I'm not looking at drafting or anything like that. So going into split 3, I assume it's going to stay. I'm going to say maybe bad. Not ugly for me. It's fun. It's a fun change up, but it is quite uninteractive. And even though it's exciting to see things like Vel'Koz and Talia, and I think they're fun adaptations, it's mostly Ziggs, it's mostly Mel, and that's not super fun.
What
to
do you
watch.
mean by bad? What do you mean by bad? What is bad about or what is uninteractive about Mage's bot lane?
I think it's good if we're like, oh, well, Viper performs really well. I think Viper has had a really, really disappointing year so far. Like, surprisingly disappointing. He's been incredibly quiet, and he came up in this tournament playing Vel'Koz and playing things like Talia and Cass, and that's really exciting to come up like as a change up as a viewer. But I want to see 80 carries play the position that they're supposed to play. I know that that's a little bit limiting from a design perspective, but I want to see the clicks. I want to see the best 80 carry on the world space gliding on their opponent. I don't want to see them sit back and throw Ziggs on a Camille ult, and that's the fight. It's not super engaging for me. It's not ugly, but it's also not good for me.
I disagree. I think that mages are a very healthy part of the game. I'm more so really, really upset about what is this freakish support meta. Like, Camille support should not exist. In nowhere, there's a reason why we removed this champion from the jungle, like, a couple years ago. This champion is a freak of design, and every time she comes out, it's like, okay, well, we're just abusing the fact that she's a disgusting duelist, and she can, like, do all these, like, really freakish things. I think support meta is more so to blame for this. Like, Shen is fine. I think Shen is, like, a really more obnoxious version of, like, Maokai support, but Maokai support really blows in lane, so I'm, like, okay with it existing because you can just smash him and then he's useless for the rest of the game. I'm okay with mages. As a bot lane player, it is more fun for me to play more things, because then what happens is that we move away from if 80 carry players would do this, you could move away from even just mages. You can just play, like, some really, really cool bruisers, or, like, I don't want to say, like, assassins, because I don't think assassins have a right to live in bottom lane, but, like, you can play other things. I like Talia in support in bottom lane more than I like her in mid. I think all of her matchups are much better. I think it is way more fun. And yes, 80 carry historically has been, like, a attack damage marksman, but I don't think this is much different than watching Caitlyn, Xayah, Kai'Sa versus, like, Ezreal and all these other champions sit in their lanes by themselves while their support goes and does other things around the map. But that's part of the interactivity.
Ugly. It's ugly. I don't want that shit in my lane. I'm sorry.
We got the whole spectrum.
I hate it. I want the intensity of 280 carries in a team fight, having to manage those team fights and find avenues. Not
you're doing the same thing on mages
and kill. No, you're not. You're throwing out some abilities from long range, not doing shit. No.
What does Caitlyn do? What does Caitlyn do? How much range does Caitlyn have?
Auto attacks.
Right now.
Has to move. Has to weave.
Right now.
I'm not Syndra. I'm not throwing a Q out in my ear.
Right now. What is Caitlyn's auto attack range right now?
650.
I don't know.
What is Caitlyn's auto attack range when she has? What is Caitlyn's auto attack range when she has a headshot?
I mean, it doesn't increase.
It's the same, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
No, it
Headshot
doesn't.
gives you increased range. Yes, it does. What?
I don't think you're right.
Anyway.
But I want the intensity of the team fights between two ADCs. And it's always been a favorite part of my, like, watching League, and it's something that I really like playing as well. But the intensity of, like, going up to a team fight, knowing that these 280 carries who have to find ways to auto attack is so cool. And I think, while I agree it's cool to have the option to play bot laners, it should, or play mages in the bot lane, it should in no way, shape, or form, like, take over the meta. Like, I'm fine with it being a clutch decision in, like, game 4s, game 5s, or things like that. Like, I think that's really cool. But especially solo queue, I know I'm going a little bit out from professional play, but, like, mages of the bot lane is, like, taking over the game. And I feel like I don't like it that much.
Okay, but mages bot also didn't take over the tournament. It wasn't even played.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mostly in, like, solo queue and like the general game itself. Mages.
I think in solo queue you should just nut up and stop being a little pansy. Just play the mages, bro.
Just play the mages.
Yeah, like, who cares? You're playing solo queue. The point of the game in all aspects is to win. And if the best
True.
pick at the
You ain't
time
wrong.
is to play mage, but like I look at the finals right here, like if I pull up the finals of even of just MSI, we didn't see the mages randomly disappeared after that was the thing that kind of popped up in the first series. Like we go to HLE versus BLG in winners finals. It's Cassiopeia versus Ziggs in game 1. It's Talia in game 2. It's they then throw and then the series goes back to marksman. Then I go to the finals and it's what, Caitlyn Ezreal.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
We're playing
hyper
Lucian
carries.
Ziggs. Okay, like
It
Mel
is surprising
is
to me though.
Mel is not even banned in most of these games. So like she takes over. She actually gets picked in game 4, right? Like mages are not taking over. And we've even seen, like, from series to series, the actual priority of these mages just changes based on what these teams are wanting to draft.
I don't know if this like had necessarily a massive impact on the series because it's the most hindsight you can possibly have. But I want to know, I'd be interested in asking if I ever get the chance, like what happened in this meta? Because I'm looking at, like you said, Cass game 1, Talia game 2, and Zaya and then Ezreal. So like mages were being like, well, BLG was using mages to get these advantages through the early stages of the draft or through the early games. And then there was a Ziggs from Hummerlife in game 1, but they didn't play any. And BLG stomped them. And then in the second time they played, BLG played no mage bot, no mage bot, no mage bot. They played the mage in game 4 and then no mage bot in game 5. So what made them change their mind like about valuing these picks? Because they really were. They played the Vel'Koz, they played the Cass, the Talia a few times, and then it just kind of they just decided we don't like this. Maybe it was a scrims thing. Maybe they lost confidence on the day. I'm really surprised. Not even just if the results stay the same. I'm surprised they changed up what had been dictating a tournament.
I'm just looking back at the draft here, right? Like game 1, HLE, BLG, and upper finals. Nefiri first pick. And then BLG take Jarvan Cassio. The Cassio is used as a flex here because the only other player who had been playing Cassio bot was Furia's bot laner before this. So it's like, okay, how many of these teams are actually expecting for it to be then? HLE then respond with Ziggs and Rel. We go to the second phase of draft. Then it's with Shen. And then it's R5 Akali so that they see Zeka's pick. It's like, okay, that makes complete sense. We've now tried to get a counter in the bottom lane, or in the mid lane, so that Knight has a really good matchup. And I was really excited because those are two champions that I would say are like super synonymous with Zeka as a player. Silas or Akali and Yone. Those are two of his champions that if you usually give them to him, he's going to outperform. Knight is a beast on Akali, right? But that was, I think, a very smart way of adapting in the draft. The game 2 draft where we saw the Talia was picked R5 or and counter pick on the very last pick of the draft. So the mages are coming out in like very specific, I would say fairly niche scenarios, but they're not. T1 are the only team that I feel that are like, okay, every game 1 we're coming in and we're gonna play mages bot lane unless you physically restrain us from doing so. Outside of game 1 versus BLG, where they play the Jhin game and we get rocked. And then they also played the Kai'Sa. They played the Kai'Sa game in game 2, which they lost. The game that we won, they're playing Senna. Game 4 versus T1, they played Mel, and it was the Mel Pike game, and that game was super ugly, right? But I feel like that is more of a player preference than it is necessarily like quote unquote a meta. And then obviously every other team was just like, I'm not playing mages. Like we're not good. We're playing Ziggs. That's about it.
The right way.
Yeah, I think the T1 thing is a lot of a carrier, like getting him on Camille or Pike if they can.
I mean, Pays is that guy. I'm so sad we lost him. I loved him. I loved having him back.
Whose fault was that?
Tabe's Kappa. I don't know. No clue. They decided that Guma's record was up, so we're gonna move him along. Which last thing on T1, I think it is very beautiful that we are seeing those boys win on other teams, And there was a very, very interesting quote that I remember from Guma when he left T1 at the end of last year, which was, T1 is a great team, and I will never, ever take for granted the titles that we won, the world championship trophies that we were able to take home with this group. But my legacy will always be put in comparison to having Faker or having these great players on my team, being on this great org. If I truly want to be the greatest player in the world or the greatest AD carry in the world, I got to do it on another team. I got to do it on a team where I'm not playing with Faker or I'm not playing with Carrier, right? And if Carrier then moves on to HLE and HLE decide they want to build like mini T1 again,
careful
ahead.
with that one.
Look,
Get in trouble.
They've already got 2/5, okay?
True.
And owner's not leaving, Carrier's not leaving, and Faker's a co-owner of T1. So I don't think it's gonna happen, but I do think there's something to say, right? Where he knows that if he's always going to be put next to Faker. There's every single player in this sport is now put up against Faker. And especially if you're on his team, it's just going to be something you have to live with. So I mega respect that. I just want to give that aside because I think it's one of the best quotes from any player in the sport. And I love that part about it. That's enough about MSI. We can now move on. The
Jackie
ghost
Love
of
coming
Jackie
with us,
Love
though.
haunts us all.
Bye, Jackie Love.
Yeah. If you didn't know, the 22nd, so in relation to when we were recording this, the night of the 17th, in less than 4 days, basically, we're going to be starting LPL. If you're, for some reason, you've been under a rock, or you're just like, hey, I was watching MSI, and now I don't know when starting, 2 a.m. PDT, the 22nd. Do your local conversions. That is when we're going to be starting LPL again. A lot of the rosters have not even been finalized. We don't know who Ninjas and Pajamas are going to play after they've had most of their team picked apart. But, gentlemen, what are some of the big moves that you think are happening that are at least a little bit surprising, or maybe
Crisp is back.
strong?
Back again.
That guy was
Crisp
trash.
is back. Tell a friend. Crisp is back. Crisp is back. No, I'm excited for Crisp. I hope he actually does well. That's probably my most exciting move.
I'm surprised about the Fongyue one. I saw a lot of discourse about that. Like, this is Buddy's debut in the LPL, and maybe he didn't do great, but he's a young guy. He's a young player in his career. Is it the right move?
Top esports want to win now, I guess.
Maybe, but yeah, I feel like I don't know if the swap is great either. I don't know about Top Esports' decision here. It'll be interesting to see how Fongyue does in NIP, but yeah, this is the one that I'm going to be paying the most attention to, but I don't know if it's the right decision at all.
So the wording from Top Esports was that they wanted clearer comms, or they wanted a stronger... They're basically restructuring how their in-game leadership is going to work going into Split 3 and going into, hopefully, Worlds for them, because it completely fell apart at MSI.
Yeah.
And so...
You could see it in the comms videos, too. There was a lot of extra noise in team fights.
Yeah. I talked to Fongyue, and I remember there was a lot of, different comms videos we would check where, Fongyue's, he's talking a lot, but I don't think it's, super overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I do feel like this MSI performance... We talked about it actually in the episode going into MSI, that the expectations for Top Esports were not incredible, but just don't lose to a North American or European team. And then they did. And it's G2. Records. Yeah, they lost to G2, and then they lost to Team Secret Wales. I do feel like the entire nexus point of where all of Top Esports went wrong is the Game 3 scuttle. And then everything there was just a horror fest after that. And so to see them kind of, what if I feel like is kind of scapegoating a rookie, doesn't put a good taste in my mouth. Jwo was great, but I do think that Jwo and Awesome were kind of a package. And so breaking that up does kind of put into question whether or not Jwo will be good again. We've seen him play on Top Esports before.
I was going to say.
We've seen him play with Jackie Love. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Players have changed. So hopefully for him and for Top Esports, we'll get something a little bit different in the performance. I just feel bad for this NIP team. that really felt like they literally had one bad best of 5, and not only did it like ruin their year because now they're going to be playing in Group Nirvana, but also now almost the whole team got picked apart. There was rumors that Hoya was going to be moving. There was rumors that Care was going to be moving. Guwon got offers, but the top side of the map actually stayed in what was alleged to be like a last minute consideration. The 3 of them stayed. Awesome gets sent to IG, and even that had some drama in it, which I thought was really respect to Joshi for putting his foot down. But brother, you're not in a position to beg to start bargaining like that. Did you guys hear the Joshi story?
I did not.
Behind the scenes, and this is not confirmed, rumor is that when IG said, "Hey, we're looking at getting Awesome to play." Basically, like almost like a 6-man roster, or like one of you guys would like you guys would be fighting for the spot. Joshi kind of just said, "It's me or him."
Wow.
We'll see how that plays out.
That's tough.
I don't think you have the negotiating power to do that, but I think that requires a level of confidence that I don't think any of us had in Joshi for most of the split. So, if that is true, kudos to you, brother. That's a baller move.
Also,
that's
kudos to Clearlove, who is just making the rounds in Group Nirvana teams.
He's here.
Just gotta keep finding better opportunities.
He's not as bad as Moham, but Clearlove
He's not as bad as Moham.
He is a guy who keeps falling and tripping up for some reason.
Yes, exactly.
He goes from like this super dysfunctional. So he coaches EDG, and then he coaches JDG in the middle of the split, or in the middle of the year when CV Max left. So now he's coaching Shun and Scout and Pays. And that whole team basically kind of falls apart after a pretty.
You gotta also remember that first stint with EDG. It was like this big homecoming. It's like, oh my God, Clearlove is back at EDG. Oh. And then
you can't win, bro. How can you win when you have Angel as your mid laner? So then he comes back to EDG after a bad time in JDG. They don't do well. They get farmed at the Asia Star Invitational.
Come home.
So then he comes back. They make a lot of really good impressions. They win their best of 5 against Ninjas in Pajamas, so they get to Group Ascend. And then he goes to Weibo, who get rid of Coach Kim. Coach Kim was obviously not doing great, but signing.
Why would you leave? Like you just made the promotion. Why?
Yeah.
Because EDG doesn't have that Weibo money.
He's like,
bro.
give me. They've made it. I need to go back down to the depths and bring back another team.
He gets to play with Xiaohu. I mean,
true.
That feels good, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the groups are going to be very interesting. I don't know how it's going to go.
Why do we have Moham? Bro,
Dude,
there is a non-zero chance I'm going to have to cast a Weibo game this split, and I'm not looking forward to looking at Moham on my screen.
Who is the one that is signing off on him joining? Like, I need
his
to know.
agent. His agent is the GOAT. His agent is the GOAT.
He's giving out contracts left and right. He's making sure to get all the extras in there so that Moham gets signed.
Oh, I forgot to put this on here, mostly because I was in a scramble to get this done. Jack, how are you feeling about LNG? We covered this in the last episode, but they're gonna have, they're gonna get Angel in the mid lane, or Bulldog is going to EDG. We don't quite know who the mid laner for LNG is. It seems like Weiwei has been kind of settled on as the jungler for this team, and the bot lane is going to be still 1xN, but it's going to be missing in Jue.
So, okay. And they're all in Group Nirvana. With, what is it? Weibo, IG.
With the Shy and Rookie back.
Which is just... That was going to be my after we got through all this. Is I love Chris coming back, but my favorite funny thing is that the Shy and Rookie have come back for the 1,000th time.
Maybe this is just the hyperbolic time chamber of, training arc, and they all come back and then really strong.
Dude,
but that could also just not happen at all.
How did that even happen? Like, bro's been gone. Bro has been gone. But he's back.
Hell yeah. Look, anybody who played on that cursed LNG team from last year, you get a pass, okay? That team just had bad vibes, had bad cursed energy around them. They've completely cleansed it, kind of, except the part where they can't make it into Group Ascend for some reason because they suck.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they're okay.
Now they have some big
and
names.
So I want to see him come back, and I want to see what he can do. I was looking for more LNG news, and I just got completely flashbanged by looking at what the world's play-in stage is going to look like. So I'm depressed. We're getting in. The play-ins, we'll just go real quick. LCP third seed, LEC and LCS third seed, and then the fourth seed from the running up region. So LPL fourth seed is going to play-ins.
That's us.
Oh, can we please get rid of this Riot Games? Please, for the love of God, stop doing this dumb format. All right, I'm done. All right, we can talk about the actual.
Well, I'm
rosters.
casting LNG IG, so I get to see both of them together fighting each other. That's fire, actually.
Are there more big names, like percentage-wise? Are there more big names in Group Nirvana now than there are in Group Ascend?
No.
Like, if there's like, come on, dude.
There's Tarzan and Flandra. There's BLG with all five players.
Like percentage-wise, like because there's like 3 super teams in Group Nirvana now, while Group Ascend has 8 teams, and while there's a lot of really big name teams, and it's like 75% of Group Nirvana.
It's just time for one group, I think.
I don't think we can call them super teams if they're in Nirvana.
I am an ABC player.
I don't think we can call them super teams when they're losing series to TT.
Dude, I'm wondering. I'm just going on my tinfoil hat. Is this all like part of the? Do they see like an avenue that we don't see on the broadcast where it's like it's the easier run to Worlds? Like, did all these teams find themselves in Group Nirvana make it to Worlds?
This is some. Hang on.
What do you mean it's the easier group? What do you mean it's the easier path to Worlds?
Do they know something that we don't? Do they want like the epic trudge? Do they want to be able to say at the end of the year, like, we made it all the way from Group Nirvana to Worlds 4th seed? Like, is that the plan?
Well, whoever gets to voice over that cinematic, they've got their script written right here. Good job.
Yeah.
That's crazy. When,
I'm just trying to make sense of it, guys.
Captain Flowers is writing that down.
Right. Why did we end up here? Why?
I hate this format. I don't hate this format. I don't like this Group Nirvana. This Group Nirvana actually feels like we have like we've quarantined all of the old people into one section of the bracket.
So wait. Why do you guys
Agreed, they should have played better. Agreed, they should have played better. They should just not lose to Thunder Talk and LGD. We would not be in this position.
So many of the players are new to the teams that are playing. Like, I'm just like...
Just win! Agreed! Dude, Ilya is smurfing.
Can I get an interview with BLG if they lose? And just, can I just say that? Just win.
Which one? What?
Just win.
Oh,
just
yeah.
That's it.
All right.
This is going to be a wild split. It's going to be a wild split.
For those who don't know, and actually, there is social shame. Yeah, true. Ilya, let's get to our last slide here. Actually, speaking of social shame, Ilya did not no, you can keep going. Ilya did not prepare a learning Chinese. This is now 3 episodes in a row where Ilya has decided you at home don't deserve to learn Chinese. So if you want to get at him, remember his online at Ilyasha.
I got an easy one. We can learn 谢谢.
I think we already have.
No, we got to do it again.
No? Yep. Whoa! That's not a real fan then. That's not a real fan then.
Oh, yeah, that's a fake fan.
That's a fake fan. Okay, the schedule. So, again, 22nd, 2 a.m. PDT. The time on the screen is from my local machine, so 2 a.m. PDT. Go do the math on your own. You're all adults here. I hope we don't broadcast to minors. Here, for the season, or for this split, it is going to be a lot shorter of a split. It's only 5 weeks instead of 7 from split 2. but we're going to be in a new arena every single week, the first week being in Shenzhen, and we're going to have a lot of 3 series days, which for some of our casters from last year, we remember there was a
we
couple
got
of
it
them
easy
like,
this year. This year people had it easy.
Not this split though. We're going back to the mines. We're getting 3. There will be at least 4 days out of 5 where there will be 3 series. There will also, again, this will not be changing throughout any point of this split. There will not be games on Mondays and Tuesdays. Please remember, no games Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays will be back with more games. So there's now properly a 5-day schedule, a 5-day calendar with 2 days off. I like it.
But why are we no? Why are we doing?
I like it.
Why are we taking 2 days? Like, okay, maybe that's just my old LPL. I'm just an old man, and I was around in a time that LPL was on 7 days a week, no rest, no quit. But we're just dogpiling 3 series days so that we don't do things on Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, you could just take Monday off, put 2 more series. I don't know, man. Like,
I feel like a young kid, and it's like, Grandpa, it's okay. It's okay. You know, just...
We can play mages in the
be
bot
on
lane
every
now,
day.
Grandpa. Just take your medicine and
imagine
do 3
casting
series.
at 4 a.m. couldn't be me. That's
Yeah,
sucks.
actually.
it's still gonna be at 4 a.m. because we still have to. We have 3 series every day.
Not for me. Not for me. It's not. I'm not in any mines.
Yep. I think having 3 series in one of the things that I do think got lost in translation for some of our international viewers or even just people on the show is that with the teams that had home arenas, for the most part, they would be switching broadcasts in between the different arenas because the teams would travel there. I think this lightens the load not only for the behind the scenes, you don't have to move like production production actually would mostly be in one central location and then there would be on-site people at the arena. So that lowers the burden there. I think also this is a really good change for fans that are going to watch games. Now you don't have to say, damn, BLGAL and JDG, whatever team, Top Esports are playing, but they're on 2 separate, they're in 2 separate cities right now. There is high-speed travel in China, so it's not the most difficult, but depending on where it is, it could be anywhere between an hour to a couple of 3 hours to get there, depending on how you end up getting there. I'm looking at Ilya. It could be 5 to 6 hours, depending on where it is. So
You're not making it.
This is a really good way for fans to now be like, hey, for a whole week we're going to be in Shenzhen. You can now make an entire travel trip about hey, Thursday through Sunday, I want to catch a couple of LPL games. Am I going to really sit there for 3 best of 3s? Probably not. But they probably were going to do that anyway. So
I think
put them all in one, and you actually can drive, I think, meaningful tourism to these cities for the LPL fans that want to travel and then the international fans that are visiting.
the greatest change LPL ever made was not having strict starts with their series. Because there used to be a time when we would literally have to skip games because the other game had started back in the day. Well, like the official broadcast, we would have 3 series days. We would get into the second series. That back then we had the casters pair casting the first game, and then the last 2 games was the second caster pair. They would either inform the audience that we were skipping to the next series, or we would stay in that series and the other series would start and we would come in at like game 2 or 3. It was like wild. They finally stopped that like 2 years ago, like right whenever LPL official got canceled. And it's probably the best change ever, so that people could actually watch the games.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm glad we got rid of that. That's another good change.
I will say, I wish, and I think it would be cool. I would be fine with 3 series days on Saturdays and Sundays. I think having it 3 days in a week is really tough. But it is what it is. But I think like 2 days and then the other days being all 2, I think that's like a perfect schedule for fandom, at least.
I like having 2 days off. I think it lets teams properly move.
True.
And people weren't watching, I think, all 7 days anyway. So.
But the numbers, Alec.
The numbers prove that. We have access to the numbers. The numbers prove that. So, just how it is. This is our first week of games. I'm surprised to see BLG is playing. I'm expecting this team to not look very different. Just because they went from playing in MSI, they then played in Blood Money Cup, and now they're going straight into playing on the second day of the split, which is... It was 4 days between MSI and the other bad tournament, and then it's going
Isn't
to be...
that thing still going on, though? Are they going to be back?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already out. They're already out.
Oh,
They-
nice.
Yeah, they lost to Det plus Kia. So
No,
Yeah.
great, wonderful.
Yeah, Showmaker got
I'm
paid.
sure they're gonna do really good.
Showmaker, they paid for the office. And
Did you
they
see
got salaries in line.
his reaction when they won?
No, I didn't.
Showmaker's like, Cam? I only saw like a clip about it. He's just like...
Nice.
I do love Showmaker, man. That guy is always...
Hey, at least they got a
he's real.
lob with TT.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this
hope.
early portion of the bracket, by the way, is so easy for BLG. Like, cool, my
Yeah.
first 3 matches are TT, EDG, and AL.
The AL one I wouldn't say is easy. I
I think
actually
it's
that's
gonna be
a
free.
banger. That's my match of the week. That's my match of the week.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I
either
think-
that or IG Weibo. Those are the two that I'm really looking at.
I think IG Weibo is much more match of the week. A lot of these games look like doo-doo to me.
Who's second seed then, do you think, Elk? Like,
What's up?
who do you think is second seed? Like, who's contesting BLG? Or are you saying that BLG is still going to be weakened from MSI? They've got post-MSI nerf.
I think if by week 3 BLG are not already like in 3rd to 5th place, then everybody else is still like, if they don't catch the MSI bug between now and week 3, it's never happening. Or if they do, then it's going to be they're going to crash and burn at Worlds, which I don't want to happen. But like looking at not only their opponents for the first week, looking at their championship points, they're at 190 right now. The second highest is Top Esports with 90 points. It is almost impossible for BLG to miss Worlds at this point. So at any point during this split, they could just take a break. And a break to them probably looks like AL and JDG's very, very high ceiling at from what I have seen from this last year. So really, I don't like who is second. Maybe it's Top Esports still. We didn't talk about it because I don't think it really made a big change, but 369 is now officially a sub on the team in top lane. That wasn't the case before. He is still positionally coaching, but he wasn't also officially on the team. It was really weird the way it was labeled, but now he is properly an actual sub, so he can play games, and he is now listed actually on the staff as a positional coach for Swayon. So whatever that means, we'll see. I do think that Top Esports is still probably the second best team in the league, and then whether or not we will see JDG actually rise to the occasion, I just need Gala to stop running it down. This brother has had a couple years now where he hasn't been the best, and he's been kind of a choker in some of these big series. So I want to see him perform, but until we get to like those really, really big best of 5s, I do think that probably the match of the week for me is going to be IG versus Weibo.
How crazy is it that we have like 3 or 4 teams, I guess I counted 3 so far, but that are all playing 3 series within a 5-day span? Like, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah, it's a lot of games in a week. Not a lot of prep time, you know? Like, literally,
better.
BLG have 1 day between 2
I mean,
series
that
of
was
World
true.
Series.
That was true last
LGD
split
don't have
too.
a day.
Yeah,
For some teams,
yeah,
yeah.
LGD. LGD do.
Between-
They play the first day and then they play
Friday,
the second
Saturday.
day. Yeah, exactly. But
WE
yeah,
also do. That's why I was saying there's like 4
this happened
teams
last split
plus.
too.
That's
JDG played 3 series in a row almost every single
They
week.
did. They did.
So
Except for the last
I don't feel. I feel zero.
I don't like
sympathy.
it, though.
You're-
What I'm saying is I don't like it. I think they should give the teams a little bit more time. Spread the games out a little bit more. But that's just me. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I like. In a season, there's always some teams who are like, guys, do we really got to prep?
I would say
Just
at least
play
put
the
a day between each
just play-
series.
Jay Beto, you and me are head coach. You and I are head and assistant coach of BLG. Are we prepping Are we doing prep sheets for Thunder Talk Gaming? Yes or no? We just went to 5 games versus versus T1 and HLE. We had 2 series versus HLE. We just played in a Mickey Mouse tournament. Are we doing prep sheets for our boys for Thunder Talk Gaming? Yes or no? Who's their top laner? Who's their mid laner? Does he have any relevant experience?
How many titles has he won?
Yeah,
How many best of 5s in the LPL has he won? Let's start there.
It's a low blow.
All right. Well, we're prepping for AL.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you on Sunday.
All right.
Well, shake your hand, thank you, and we'll get ready for playing against Tarzan on Sunday. It would be really fun if TT won. I would completely write it off as BLG, just MSI bug, and then I wouldn't take it away from TT, but I also wouldn't take it away from BLG. It would just be like. It'd be like plugging a power supply into itself. Infinite energy is now created. There's no loss. There's no entropy. We've just created something out of nothing. Thunder Talk, great job. You're on top of the moon. You're now the number 2 team in the entire world. Congrats. Awesome. Okay. We're done with the schedule. We're kind of done with the pod. Gentlemen, before I send us out, is there any last things that you guys wanted to touch on, either that we came up during the show or you felt it was needed to say before we start the split?
I have 2 things. One, not important. One, kind of important. The not important one, Weiwei versus Wei. It's back. It was always one of my favorite contests when I was officially casting LPL because they would always go at it, and it was always a jungle contest, so it was always Wei, and it's great. So thank you for coming back, Weiwei. I don't know where you were, but thank you for coming back from the farm. Secondly, I actually think this is going to be one of the most wild splits of the LPL. Maybe not in terms of quality, but I think the storylines are going to be really cool. I really hope people tune in. I really hope people tune into Group Nirvana games because this is probably going to be the most contested and probably coolest Nirvana group we've had since it came out. And I'm just really excited for the split. I think Summer Split's always where LPL turns it on. I think Worlds is always where LPL turns it on. And while we aren't going to achieve the Golden Road, I do expect our teams to bring respect back to our region. So
the Silver Road, maybe.
I think they have. We've brought back respect to the LPL in general. Like we just made 2 international finals throughout this year. Obviously, we won one of them, but that's first stand. But we just need more than one team to do well at Worlds. Just more than one team.
Yeah.
I mean, technically for Korea, if you look at the actual head-to-head record between LPL and LCK, and you get rid of T1, we actually have a fairly competitive. We have a competitive record. So you could just make the argument that LCK is also a 1-team region, and they just send T1 and they win the tournament. That's awesome. Cool.
I would never say that though. But
no, I wouldn't either. But that's fine.
I think I hear a truck outside your house. Do you want to check?
They're too busy sending trucks to their team after losing to G.
True.
They're too busy doing that. Jack, anything else? Do you have any shout outs you want to do?
Lila, that's my thoughts on Split 3.
Awesome. Let's get ready. Remember, July 22nd. I don't know why I had to look at my calendar for that when it's literally on my screen 3 feet in front of me. 22nd, 2 a.m. PDT. Please be there. We're going to be kicking off games. We're going to be starting off with a group ascent. Can't believe EDG LGD is a group ascent match.
First
match of the split. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Again, it is a condensed schedule. We're only going for 5 weeks, and we're getting into an amazing best of 5. We also have a new playoff bracket, but you won't need to worry about that until we get into week 4. So don't worry about it. Everybody, thank you for joining us for the 19th episode of an LPL English podcast. You can follow us on YouTube and on Twitch, as well as on Twitter, where I just remembered we actually need to fix the official LPL English Twitter account because it's no longer the top esports Despair Cat. So we got to change that back. Good reminder for me.
It's BLG Despair Cat.
It's not BLG Despair. We just made a finals. God damn it. Put some respect on the LPL. We'll see you next time for another episode of the podcast. Take care, everybody.